Good evening and thank you for joining us on BeeTv Major News at 6, reaching you live from Benin City, the Edo State Capital. I am Evelyn Izibili, and now to the news in details. Operatives of the police command in Edo have rescued 16 out of the 29 passengers abducted on Friday evening along Benin Auchi Road by suspected kidnappers. CSP Moses Yamu, spokesperson of the command, confirmed this on Saturday in Benin while reacting to the incident. The news agency of Nigeria, NAN, gathered that gunmen attacked an 18-seater bus which belonged to the new Edo Line Transport Company and two other vehicles where the 29 passengers were forcefully taken away. Sources said that the gunmen ambushed the buses on the Sobe axis of the road and dragged the victims into the bush. Shortly after the incident, the sources said a team of security operatives comprising police, army, local vigilantes, and hunters went for bush combining to rescue some of the victims. Yamu said the 16 passengers were rescued unhurt, assuring the police would leave no stone unturned to rescue others. Following the recent price increment of compressed natural gas to 450 naira per standard cubic meter for trucks and 380 for car drivers, some motorists in Benin City have expressed frustration over the hike, describing it inconvenient for them. BeeTv News' Osari Diagobo, who visits some outlets in Benin City, has details.
They're pumping air into our cylinders. What's this thing all about? It's not fair. It's not really fair.
Recently, reports indicate that compressed natural gas prices have increased to 450 naira per standard cubic meter for trucks, while car drivers still bear for 380 naira, raising concerns among motorists using this cleaner and affordable fuel option. A visit to some outlets in Benin City, motorists using CNG expressed concerns over the recent increment, describing it as unfavorable development. They said the product, which formerly sold for 230 naira, was the reason they converted their vehicles from fuel to gas, adding that months ago the price increased to 380 naira and the latest hike to 450 naira for trucks has heightened their worries about the continuous increase and its impact on their finances.
We are praying so that they will not add it, because even the 380 now is affecting us. Because the key is much, the pressure is low. Before, if we buy, like if I fill my own now with 5,000 naira, it will carry me go up to 10 trip. But now it's like 6 trip, because the population is much and the station is not many.
CNG selling for 480 is outrageous and it's not good for us right now, because before we were buying it how much? It was 200 and how much? 230. But before the 230 said it was one something. But all of a sudden they saw that people are tripping into it. The next thing they increased the price to 230. From 230 now we are hearing 400 or something. That's too much now. How does it last? The worst part of it is that the gas doesn't even last like before. Like now, unlike before, you buy the gas, it lasts up to six hours. If you buy gas, it lasts 6 hours. But now it's like 3 hours. It will get finished. And now they want to increase it. We spend a lot to convert this thing to gas. We spend a lot. Some 1,800,000, 900,000 as at when we did our own. So, but now the price is, if with this increment, it doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. It's even pursuing us back to fuel.
380. The only problem with them say make the to get an I be the only problem we just get for this thing. The thing is okay. So but make they do am more they get and they buy in time. And it's too much. That's 380 is okay.
I don't buy this morning.
How much?
Now 380 that they sell for me. Now I take buy you. Now the second one I take cost you. I never read the way they don't change the price. I never know.
The motorists also noted that the product efficiency has decreased as it no longer lasts as it used to. They further expressed frustration over the long waiting hours to get the product due to the insufficient number of refueling stations, as they appealed to the government to intervene on the price hike and provide more refueling stations.
If it be 450, it why? Now they see for inside. So if you look at both the queue, everything, that's for a better pattern, I'll be that, let the car go down. Only that in our pit up.
They sell 380. So when I get to the pump now, we know how much they are selling. If not the more queue, because there are no more station in Benin here. So because of the long queue, that is the reason, that is what is depriving many people If not, that 380 is not much before, but pertaining to fuel. You understand? But the queue, we spend much time here. At times 3 hour, 30 minutes we spend on the queue.
But only wetin dey pay me for this thing because of this CIG. Person don dey sleep well. If you no quick call, you no reach your hand. So at 3 o'clock we go comot for house because of more CIG buy. Although this one na suffer. They just dey suffer us for nothing sake.
We are buying here currently 380 naira, but the queue is much. That is only the problem we are facing now. It's not a welcome development because it's affecting us with commercial drivers, mostly commercial drivers like us. It's affecting us very, very well. It will affect both the masses because the transportation will go up. Once they increase the price of CNG now, we got to increase our transportation fare.
Meanwhile, reports suggesting that the federal government remove subsidy or increase prices on compressed natural gas in the country has been dismissed by the Presidential Initiative on Compressed Natural Gas, who says no directive or policy was issued by the federal government to alter CNG pump prices nationwide, noting that the recent pump price adjustment announced by certain operators were purely private sector's decision and not the outcome of any government directive or policy. Usarogi Agwebo, reporting for BeeTv News.
The prolonged power outages in parts of Benin City is taking a toll on small-scale business owners, with many lamenting huge financial losses as they struggle to sustain daily operations. The situation has led to reduced working hours, spoilage of perishable goods, and increased dependency on alternative power sources, further straining their already limited resources. BeeTv News' God Gifts Omone has details.
Business owners, particularly the hospitality, retail and service sectors, say the erratic power supply has forced them to rely heavily on generators, further increasing their operational costs at a time of rising fuel prices. Several artisans and shop owners say that the situation has made it difficult to meet production deadlines and retain customers. Residents and traders in affected areas are calling on the government and the Benin Electricity Distribution Company BEDC to urgently address the persistent outages, stressing that stable power supply is vital for economic activities and the survival of small businesses in the state capital.
Light of 18 is not always constant. There is need for those that are in corridor of power to put their hands in deck to ensure that there should be constant power supply. Most particularly those that are doing business, they need light.
Most times, if you don't see light, it will be a problem. NEPA people are okay. I don't even know what to say about NEPA.
The continuous disruptions in power supply remain a pressing challenge for small-scale entrepreneurs in Benin City, with stakeholders warning that if urgent measures are not taken by both government and the BEDC, many businesses risk shutting down, further worsening unemployment and economic hardship in the state. Kosgift Omone reporting for BeeTv News.
The federal government, through the National Directorate of Employment, has announced its decision to empower more than 40,000 Nigerians with in-demand skill and starter packs. This was made known at the flag-off of the second phase of the Renewed Hope Employment Initiative in Abuja. The report.
Skilled acquisition and job creation continues to be one of the objectives of the federal government. This is being implemented through the second phase of the Renewed Hope Employment Initiative, organized by the National Directorate of Employment. The Director General of NDE explained that a total of 41,307 participants selected from the electoral wards in the Federation to ensure inclusivity will be trained with over 30 skills that aligns with the organization's mandate.
The NDE will train 41,307 persons over 30 different skills. A total number of 14,457 beneficiaries are expected to be settled with starter packs to help them establish in their choosing field.
While appealing to the beneficiaries to embrace the skills, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation commended the NDE for the initiative, which he believes will help to affirm Nigeria's place in the changing global economy.
This initiative significantly underscores the federal government's deliberate efforts at moving beyond the era of paper qualification to embrace skills that are not only marketable but align with the immediate needs of industries businesses, and global value chains.
On their part, the federal and state ministers of labor and employment expressed confidence that the skill acquisition initiative will address the challenge of unemployment in the country.
Our collective responsibility must be to ensure that beneficiaries are not only trained but also empowered to transition into sustainable, productive ventures that will secure their livelihood and strengthen the economy. I am hopeful at the end of the training period, which will be immediately complemented with the provision of startup packs and financial support, direct and indirect jobs would have been created across the 36 states and FCT.
With the second phase of the Renewed Hope Employment Initiative now in place, the NDE and other labor stakeholders are optimistic that Nigeria is on the path to reducing the unemployment rate in the country. Favor Kolawole reporting for BeeTv News.
Amid cases of wheelbarrow pushers being involved in accidents and destroying of goods due to overloading, residents have advised them to carry load that won't obstruct their views, citing poor visibility as a major cause of accidents. BeeTv News' Sarige Agogo reports.
Yes, those people will stop to do that. If not 3 times they will carry, let them carry 3 times.
Wheelbarrow pushers are paid to help people transport goods from one place to another. However, some pushers overload their wheelbarrows, obstructing their view and increasing the risk of accidents and damage to goods. Residents criticize the practice, advising wheelbarrow pushers to carry loads that maintain visibility to ensure safe transportation of the goods.
Me, myself, I beat them. How can somebody carry loads? I use this thing to push wheelbarrow. How can you see road? If motor jam you or you won't turn, my brother, in fact, Nigeria, we don't die. We don't tire. Okay, they will stop them. Let them they carry half.
So, from my opinion, is that I'm advising those people that push wheelbarrow, they will try to do something that they will use to view the space. They will not jam-pack the goods together. They will demarcate it so that there will be an entrance that they will review, so that they cannot hit somebody, they cannot cause accidents.
The residents also advise people giving wheelbarrow pushers loads to transport to them to consider alternative options, such as dividing the load among multiple pushers or having it transported gradually to prevent accidents and damage to their goods.
Well, I've seen them. The thing is boring. Because see, if you load your load too much on your bicycle, on your wheelbarrow, you cannot see the front. They almost damage people's load by carrying those things, and which is very unfair. So we advise the government to please talk to those people to reduce their wheelbarrow loading so that they can be able to see front and balance their view of walking.
It's not okay. You cannot heap up your goods above what you cannot, your capacity of what you cannot carry. Because can easily fall down. The goods can easily damage. You carry what you capable to carry. What your strength can lead up to carry.
Meanwhile, the news crew could not find an authority over the wheelbarrow pushers to speak to, as some wheelbarrow pushers confirmed that they do not have a union or body which regulates their activities. It is, however, hope that they will heed to the advice to prioritize their safety and carry out their jobs responsibly. Osaroge Agwebo, reporting for BeeTv News.
The West African Examination Council, WAEC, has announced a transition from traditional written examination to computer-based testing, CBT, starting in 2026. This move is aimed at aligning with global best practices and promoting efficiency in the conduct of examinations. BeeTv News' Favor Kolawole reports that respondents welcomed the development, describing it as a step forward in modernizing Nigeria's educational system.
The decision by the West African Examination Council, WAEC, to replace written examinations with computer-based tests, CBT, has continued to draw reactions. Respondents said the new development will help curb examination malpractice, noting that the system will make it more difficult for candidates to engage in irregularities during examination.
Development, taking the recent events that happened, people writing exam at middle of the night with no light. I know from the beginning it's going to be very difficult because you know when JAM started, the first year was very difficult because adjusting to the new CBT level. But it will help us as a developing country that we are able to move with the fast tech words, and also it will help stop malpractice because there is a lot of malpractice in WAEC, and I think that is going to help curb down malpractice in WAEC.
Others pointed out that the shift would also address past challenges of missing scripts, which had often raised concern among candidates and parents. They further attributed the recurring problem of exam papers arriving late at centers, often destabilizing students, as another issue that the CBT is expected to eliminate. They expressed optimism that the CBT results will be processed faster and more transparently. While applauding the innovation, respondents urged WAEC to ensure that schools, especially in rural areas, are adequately equipped with computers, stable internet connectivity, reliable power supplies, and proper orientation for students, so that the new system benefits all candidates fairly when it takes effect in 2026.
It's a good idea. I think so. It's very good because, you know, paper, most times when the students write, they make mistakes, and in the midst of correcting the mistake they make, they make more mistakes in the midst of correcting. But when you use the CBTH, that is online, correct. You can erase your mistake without any trace, you understand? And also those who are marking the script, I've heard of issues like in my own time. Those people, the invigilators that would come to take the papers to go mark, and sometimes they say they are missing papers, but that online is very assured, no missing, you understand? So it's a welcome idea. It's very, very, very nice.
Changing from the paper exam to CBT is actually a welcome development, but I don't think we are ripe enough for it. You get, being the fact that we still have electricity problem to face. We are lacked of infrastructure. Even if you get those computers, where do you keep them? Because I understand that this place, they have centers that they normally use, and they are nowhere prepared for it. We are not ripe for it. We are not prepared for it. Another thing is, our younger ones are supposed to start using computer from the young age. I don't know if you get. Then just bring in that person that doesn't have an access to a very good phone for now. Then you now say you should come and use that same thing to write an exam. When that person has been penning down every knowledge he or she has, it will be a very difficult one for that person.
I prefer that online because the last time when they write, some finish 10. Like some people might not carry their phone, go school that day. Okay, your friends go write finish, for they'll come borrow you phone touch to write exam. Why some school borrow gen, on gen, to write exam? So I prefer that online exam. That would be preferable.
Why the switch to CBT exams is widely applauded as a step in the right direction. Respondents stressed that its success will hinge on WAEC's ability to balance innovation with inclusivity. Favor Kolawole reporting for BeeTv News.
The need for the Edo State Fire Service to be adequately equipped with the needed state-of-the-art firefighting equipment in order to improve its service delivery and response to emergency fire incidents have been emphasized by residents in Benin City. BeeTv News Freeman Osawi reports.
Edo State Fire Service is an agency saddled with the responsibility of curtailing fire incidents in the state through its firefighting equipment. However, the agency is also faced with some challenges, especially in the area of adequate firefighting equipment. Some Benin City residents, while commenting on the importance of the task the Edo State Fire Service rendered, urged the government to provide more state-of-the-art equipment such as fire trucks for the fire service agency and employ more personnel as part of efforts to boost its service delivery, especially in response to fire emergencies. The residents further said there should be more fire stations in other parts of the state because it will help the agency to respond more effectively to fire outbreaks whenever they are called upon.
Edo State Fire Service, this has to do with they have to give them the vehicles. They have to make sure that the vehicles are working. A lot of times we see the vehicles parked and nobody is manning the vehicle. Are you getting something here? So the state should see to it that they sit down again and restructure that particular sector of the state. I even think that they should check the people working there so that they should be dedicated to their work, because a lot of time fire break out and the whole goods are burnt. Sometimes lives is being lost. It's not a good one. If we say there's a fire service, they should render service.
My advice is they should create more stations.
They need, because I can believe, like before, they used to have one of the fire car here that used to stay here. Because now sometimes I discovered there was a one that burnt some time ago. They said a fire service need to come from Delta to Benin before the one in Benin able to reach there, which they are not supposed. It's not supposed to be so. So because they need to put, there are something that need to put in place, because when fire burn down a house, to build that thing back again is not an easy job. That's why those are the things they need to put in place for the masses, so that they'll be able to help the masses, people that are staying in the state, so that those that are paying tax, they'll be happy paying it because they are seeing what they are using the money for.
The Edo State Fire Service is the agency in charge of responding to any incidents of fire outbreaks in the state. Freeman Osa will reporting for BeeTv News.
Artisans at the popular Igun Street in Benin City, the historic home of bronze casting, are grappling with the challenge of sustaining their centuries-old crafts amid the pressures of modern economic realities. Once renowned globally for producing the famous Benin bronzes that symbolized the cultural identity and spiritual heritage of the Benin Kingdom, the community now faces declining patronage, rising costs of raw materials, and loss of interest among the younger generations. BeeTv News' God Gives Omni brings us details.
The Igun community, globally recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, has for generations produced the famed Benin bronzes that embody the cultural pride of the Benin Kingdom. However, bronze casters say the rising cost of raw materials, dwindling patronage, and limited government support are threatening the survival of the art.
It's almost 30 years and I was taught by my father. The job means a lot to me because we are preserving our heritage and keeping our culture alive. And it's a family heritage too. So keep it alive for our children. The challenges is always lack of patronage by our people, except the foreigners. Most foreigners patronize that. And another challenge is the increment of materials. It's to promote the artwork now. You know, when our children, the next coming generation see that it's profiting, they will engage themselves.
Residents and cultural advocates have appealed to governments and stakeholders to prioritize the preservation of the bronze art culture through deliberate investment in tourism, cultural exhibitions, and apprenticeship schemes to attract younger generations into the craft. They emphasized that sustaining Igun Street's bronze heritage is critical, not only for the livelihood of artisans, but also for safeguarding the historical identity and legacy of the Benin Kingdom for future generations.
What they believe is they've been indoctrinated with the alien world. So the culture of Edo concerning bronze, I think it's a very fading away. Yeah, it's fading away, because what we see now is that they are not grounded. They have foundational affiliation to it. There's a disconnect between the real traditional aspect of the bronze compared to the world now.
Yes, that's my perception right now, what I'm seeing, and what is the trend now. The Gen Z are not after what is happening now. They are not really after what is happening concerning our former culture and entails the bros aspect of the culture. Or what they are really after now is we want to look like a white man, want to look like a Briton man. So they are really, there's a disconnect between the bronze culture of the then Benin ancient culture and the present now.
In the 80s when we were growing up, we had a lot of artifacts because we were cultured under the Benin culture and tradition, you understand? So we were cultured to cherish our artwork. Those artwork symbolizes the old and it typifies the old school, our forefathers. And when you see them, you want to see the one you resemble, the one you look like.
Benin is being born to create. They have a mindset of creating. If you come going to act, they can create it. If you go to anything concerning furniture, you see them, they bring out many best of them. And I know that this is inbuilt, they are born on it. So everything they are showing, they are bringing something that is inside them. That is all about concerning the acts of what? Being man. Some youths haven't developed themselves inside it. And when they develop in it, people will patronize them. People from different corners will come and do what? Invest in it. In Western world, they do what? They like acts. Even in Nigeria here, many people like acts. In anything creative, they can invest on it.
As the voices for preservation continue to grow louder, stakeholders say urgent and deliberate action is required to protect the Igun bronze casting tradition. For many, the survival of this heritage is not just about sustaining an art form, but about keeping alive the history, culture, and pride of the Benin people. Gosgift Omone reporting for BeeTv News.
The Nigerian Bar Association has sued the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, over the tinted glass permit policy, saying the move is illegal. The IGP had in April introduced a policy instructing the public to apply for and get annual motor-tinted glass permits for the Nigerian Police Force for a stipulated amount. A platform was launched for the application to be processed, but the Nigerian Bar Association, at its pre-conference NEC meeting held on the 23rd of August 2025, said it would challenge the legality of the Nigerian Police Force tinted permit policy in court, has described the move as a violation of the rights of the citizens, and has raised several other genuine concerns, including the validity of the Motor Tinted Glass Prohibition Act Decree 1991. A military-era law under which the police has sought refuge. The National Bar Association, through its section on Public Interest and Development Law SPIDEL, on Wednesday, 2nd of September, instituted a public interest action before the Federal High Court, Abuja. A 1,200 capacity ultra-modern auditorium has been inaugurated at the Nigerian Army Band Corps headquarters in Surulere. The project, facilitated by the Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, reflects his commitment to the welfare of military personnel and community development.
It was a moment of pride and fulfillment as the Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, returned to the Nigerian Army Band Corps headquarters in Surulere to commission a state-of-the-art 1,200 capacity auditorium, which he facilitated.
Name Ashwari Bola Ahmed Tinubu Hall. I commissioned this to the glory of God and for the good of mankind and the military.
New edifice stands as a symbol of appreciation for the military invaluable roles in safeguarding national security and supporting community growth.
It is furnished, fully air conditioned, with an 80 kVA generator. It is ultra modern. And what it does for you is it allows you to host your events here, to do your training, to do conferences. And Surulere is also lucky. But what it also does is allows you to generate revenue. So that when people want to use your hall, they'll come, they'll pay for it, and you will use that revenue to even further develop the barracks where you live.
Mr. Gbajabiamila used the occasion to reaffirm President Bola Tinubu's commitment to recognizing and rewarding the sacrifice of the armed force.
We're knocking down one of the old bungalows there and to put a multi-story residential building, which will be our next project for this barracks.
The acting director of the Nigerian Army Band, Lieutenant Colonel Michael Toriola, applauded Gbajabiamila, an indigene of Surulere, for his sustained contribution to the growth and development of the area.
Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, CFR, a role model, a philanthropist, a man with a good heart.
From road rehabilitation to the construction of a mini stadium, Gbajabiamila interventions continues to transform Abati Barrack and its environs. Favor Kolawole reporting for BeeTv News.
President Bola Tinubu has reiterated that education is the greatest weapon in the fight against poverty, empowering individuals to overcome financial challenges and build a better future through inclusiveness and equitable access. He made this remark during the reception of the Shoun of Ogbomosho, Obagandi Afolabi Oladuni Orumogege III at the State House, Abuja. BeeTv News' Favor Kolawole has details.
The President Bola Tinubu highlighted the importance of the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, a groundbreaking initiative established under the Student Loan Act. President Tinubu emphasized that his administration is committed to investing resources to guarantee that every Nigerian child has access to quality education regardless of socioeconomic background. He says the ongoing reforms will not only break the cycle of poverty, but also equip young Nigerians with the skill to drive national development and secure the country's future.
We've established NEL Fund for the students, that no one will be a dropout because of level of poverty. Everybody is entitled to education. It's the greatest weapon that you can give to human beings against poverty. That's what we've been doing. We are renewing aggressively our infrastructure. And it's just 2 years. I'm glad to report to you today that the economy is stabilized, the bleeding has stopped, the hemorrhage is gone, the patient is alive, Nigeria is alive, Nigeria is respected.
Earlier in his speech, Obagandi Afolabi Oladuni Orumogege III commended President Bola Tinubu for his unwavering commitment towards the Nigerian youth. The monarch praised the president's visionary leadership, particularly his focus on youth empowerment, education reforms, and economic inclusion. Obagandi Afolabi expressed optimism that the ongoing initiative would uplift communities and foster a new generation of skilled, confident, and socially responsible Nigerians.
The ASU strike that used to happen, which was a perennial problem, one way or the other, you've been able to tackle it. We have the student thing, now the funding that has been given to indigent students who they would probably not have been able to afford it. Now they have access to these funds. And your commitment towards the youth development in this country, we can see it. And we believe that in 2 years, it's amazing the things that are difficult, the things that were the big gorilla in the room that everybody has ignored. But because of your person and the boldness that you have confronted all of them. And we have come to say that your actions are not going unnoticed. And I believe that the difficult times for Nigerians, we are surely seeing the light at the end of the tunnel.
Additionally, President Bola Tinubu received King Alfred XXXV, the Amaniyanabo of Twon's Brass Kingdom, at the presidential villa in Abuja. Favor Kolawole reporting for BeeTv News.
The Department of State Services has filed terrorism charges against 2 senior commanders of Ansaru, a terror group reportedly linked to Al-Qaeda, over the alleged role in violent attack across Nigeria. The suspect Mahmoud Mohammed Usman, also known as Abu Bara, Abbas Mokhtar, who is described as the Amir of Ansaru, and his deputy Mahmoud Al-Nigeri, also known as Malam Mamadu. They were recently captured during security operations. According to the Secret Service, the charges against them include leading a terrorist organization, funding its activities, recruiting members, and planning violent operations nationwide. The 2 men are alleged to be behind the July 2022 deadly attack on the Kuje prison, where more than 600 inmates, including Boko Haram suspects, escaped. The arraignment of the suspects, according to the Department of State Services, is expected soon at the Federal High Court in Abuja. Their arraignment comes 3 weeks after the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, announced their arrest. We'll take a short break and we will be right back shortly. Stay with us.
My people of Edo State, development is not a miracle. It is the result of responsibility and action. You want good roads, quality hospitals, schools, jobs for our youth? Then you must understand this simple truth. Government cannot perform without your tax. Government will fix schools, build roads, light up communities if the people pay their tax. That's how governance works. It is not about politics. It is about progress. When you pay your tax, you are not helping the government. You are helping yourself. You are helping your family and your future. Don't wait to be chased. Do the right thing. Be part of building the new Edo State. Pay your tax with pride. Let us build Edo together. This message is brought to you by Edo State Internal Revenue Service,
EIRS, Administering Revenue for Service and Development.
Welcome back from that short break, and now to the business news. The federal government has clarified that the 5% storage on petrol and diesel will not take effect in January 2026. Legend BeeTv News Sohe Osemenge for details and more from the business world.
The chairman of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, Taiwo Oyedele, explained that while the new Harmonized Tax Act signed by President Bola Tinubu provides for the surcharge, its implementation date can only be determined by the finance minister. The surcharge, once implemented, will apply to petrol and diesel, but exclude cleaner fuels such as cooking gas, compressed natural gas, and kerosene. Revenue generated will be dedicated to transport infrastructure aimed at reducing logistic costs and curbing inflation. The Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, NUPENG, has threatened to halt fuel loading following a dispute with the Dangote Petroleum Refinery. The crisis is linked to the refinery's plan to import 4,000 compressed natural gas powered trucks for direct distribution of fuel to retailers. NUPENG opposes the refinery's decision to recruit new drivers for the trucks without union membership, describing it as a violation of workers' constitutional rights to freedom of association. The union warned of nationwide disruption in petroleum supply if the issue is not resolved. The Dangote refinery, inaugurated in May 2023 with a production capacity of 650,000 barrels per day, has yet to respond to the allegations. Stakeholders have expressed concern that the dispute could trigger fuel scarcity across the country. The Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, has set up a special desk to fast-track approvals for insurance sector recapitalization, committing to a 14-day turnaround for complete submissions. The move follows the enactment of the Nigerian Insurance Industry Reform Act 2025, which increased minimum capital requirements for insurance companies. SEC and the National Insurance Commission, NICOM, are collaborating to ease the recapitalization process, offering concessions and reduced fees. Draft guidelines on minimum capital requirements, Intotech and Takefuel operations have been issued for industry input, while a policyholders protection fund is planned. Insurers are encouraged to submit both recapitalization and utilization plans to strengthen governance, expand services, and rebuild public confidence. The Nigerian Railway Corporation has suspended train operations along the Port Harcourt-Aba corridor for routine maintenance. The suspension will last until September 9, 2025. The Port Harcourt-Aba line is a vital route for traders and low-income travelers, particularly as road transport costs rise and insecurity persists on highways. The halt comes after recent derailments on other routes, which raised concern about the safety and reliability of train services. The NRC stated that injured passengers from past incidents had been compensated, but public confidence remains low, with calls growing for a comprehensive audit of the rail system. And that is the end of the Business News segment for tonight. I am Sohe Osenegi, reporting for BeeTv News.
And now looking at the global scenes, where U.S. immigration officials carried out a raid at the Hyundai battery plant in Georgia, arresting 475 workers, the majority of them South Koreans, for allegedly working unlawfully on visitor visas in what authorities describe as one of the largest operations of its kind to protect American jobs. Also, in another development, the sunscreen scandal shocking Australia, the world skin cancer hotspot. BeeTv News correspondent Harmony Agbafo has more on this and more from the global scenes. And lastly, on today's bulletin, Spanish coach Luis Enrique has suffered a broken collarbone after a cycling accident and will require surgery. Luis Enrique is a well-known cycling enthusiast and is often seen riding his bike around Paris and the Paris Saint-Germain training grounds. Let's join our sports correspondent Freeman Osare on this and more from the water sports.
According to reports via Sporta, the incident occurred on Friday in Spain, where the 55-year-old Paris Saint-Germain coach was spending time during the international break. He was immediately hospitalized after the fall and is scheduled for surgery to address the injury. The French club released a statement regarding the incident following the cycling. Paris Saint-Germain coach Luis Enrique received emergency medical attention and will undergo surgery for a fractured collarbone. Paris Saint-Germain has extended its full support to Luis Enrique and wishes him a swift recovery. The club will provide further updates soon. Nigeria's World Cup hopes have taken a dramatic twist as FIFA appointed Gabonese referee Pierre Ghislaine Acho to officiate the Super Eagles do-or-die clash against South Africa next Tuesday in Bloemfontein. For a team hanging on by the thinnest of threads in Group C, the choice of referee has raised plenty of eyebrows. Acho, just 31 years old, already carries a reputation that makes men in West Africa uneasy. His name became infamous at the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations, where it was slammed for a storming performance in the last 16 tie between Ivory Coast and Senegal. Former world champions Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather are set to compete in an exhibition bout next year. Tyson, 59, is a former undisputed heavyweight champion, while Mayweather, 48, retired undefeated after 50 fights, winning multiple titles across a number of weight classes. Former world champions Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather will set for the bout in next year's exhibition. Tyson is competing for the first time since ending his 19-year retirement in November in a controversial defeat by Jake Paul. He spent the entire of his career, which yielded 50 wins from 59 fights, at heavyweight, while the latter stage of Mayweather's career were at welterweight. Mayweather, who has won titles across 5 weight classes, has competed in a number of exhibition bouts since retiring in 2017, with his last outing coming against John Gotti III last August. And that's it on Sport News. Thanks for watching. Do have a great weekend. Freeman Osawe reporting for BeeTv News.
And that is the size of our news package for tonight. Many thanks for joining us on BeeTv Major News. I remain Evelyn Isibili. Thank you and have a good night.